Ryan Garcia just lit up the press conference by calling out Gervonta Davis right to his face. The crowd erupted instantly. This wasn't hype anymore. This just turned into a full-blown war in front of everyone.
Both fighters are fighting somebody who's undefeated, somebody who's been a champion, somebody who's at the peak of their career. This is a whole new level. This is a whole new experience coming out to that ring. Bright lights, Las Vegas, but fighting somebody undefeated who has your skill level.
Ryan Garcia just walked into a press conference as the WBC welterweight world champion, and he aimed everything straight at Gervonta Davis. The crowd lost its mind, because this isn't just a call-out. This is the most important power shift in boxing right now. 3 years ago, Garcia was the one begging for the fight. Today, he has the belt, the momentum, and every reason in the world to make Tank answer. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why this rematch just became the most urgent fight in boxing.
With what you're saying, it's the potential of the aftermath of what this ripple effect can emerge. And look, Luke and I on Morning Combat right here have talked about it week by week. It feels like there's a new generation of younger fighters, younger American fighters in many cases right now, who want the smoke right now. Yes. They want to make the career-defining opportunities right now to find out how great they are and where they stand in the world. We talked to Gervonta Davis at Wednesday's press conference. He said, I already feel like the face of this sport. What would a victory over Ryan Garcia do to push that further? And on the flip side for King.
If you're here, you already know Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis have unfinished business. Most people remember the first fight. The body shot, the 7th round, Garcia going down in front of a packed arena. Tank got the win, Garcia got the loss. And for the next 3 years, every time Garcia called for the rematch, Davis brushed it off, and the boxing world echoed, "You lost, get back in line." But here's what this channel has been watching closely. The situation has completely reversed. Garcia just became WBC welterweight world champion by dropping Mario Barrios in round 1 and winning 12 dominant rounds at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. He is now a world champion for the first time in his professional career. And in the days since, he has been publicly questioning Davis's resume, his choices, and his place in the sport, from a position of power that he has never had before. We're breaking this down in 3 parts. First, how that original fight actually went and why Garcia always had the weight excuse in his back pocket. Second, what has happened to Gervonta Davis since that win and why his career is in a place nobody predicted. And third, why Garcia's call-out at this press conference isn't just hype, it's leverage.
I don't want to say humble the world, but in a way where it's like, judging, it's like the tale as old as time is don't judge a book by its cover. It's within a person. It's not what they see outwardly. It's within you, and I think that's the biggest misconception about myself and social media. It's like there's a true fighter within me that you're gonna see come fight night.
All right, let's talk about Gervonta. January 7th on Showtime pay-per-view, he knocked out Hector Luis Garcia in the fight that was meant to.
To understand why this moment matters so much, you have to go back to April 2023. Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis fought at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. It was one of the biggest fights of that year. 2 of boxing's most electric young stars packed into a PPV main event with a title on the line. But the weight terms were brutal for Garcia. He was forced to fight at a 136-pound catch weight with a 10-pound rehydration clause, meaning he could only weigh 146 pounds on fight night. Garcia, a naturally large lightweight whose body literally cannot go lower than 143, his own words to Ring magazine, was drained going in. Davis stopped him with a body shot in round 7, clean finish, decisive win. 29-0 for Tank going forward. Garcia had the excuse, the boxing world had its verdict, and Davis moved on as the face of the 135-pound division. But fighting at a weight your body physically cannot sustain is not the same as losing on even terms. Garcia knew it. His team knew it. And the one thing Garcia always said was that he wanted the rematch on fair ground, at 145 or higher, where both men could be themselves. That conversation stalled for 3 years, and this is where the story gets complicated. Now, most people covering Garcia's call-out are treating it as just the latest chapter in a long social media rivalry. But there's one thing they're all missing, and it changes the entire meaning of what Garcia said at that press conference. Since beating Garcia in April 2023, Gervonta Davis's career has moved at a pace nobody expected and not in the right direction. He fought Lamont Roach Jr. in March 2025, taking a knee in round 9 after grease from his braids dripped into his eyes. He won, but it wasn't clean. Then his Jake Paul exhibition, a massive Netflix payday that would have put him back in the mainstream spotlight, was canceled in November 2025 after a civil lawsuit alleged battery, false imprisonment, and kidnapping by an ex-girlfriend. Davis was then arrested in Miami's Design District on January 29, 2026. The surveillance footage from that Miami strip club incident was released publicly in April 2026, shared by TMZ after a judge determined in a civil court hearing that his ex-girlfriend could seek $5 million in punitive damages. Ryan Garcia's response was blunt. On X, he called Davis an angry little fucker and rejected Davis's legal team's statement about the footage. He condemned the behavior publicly. And on Boxing 247, Garcia went further, questioning whether Davis's reputation matched the opponent's on his actual record. Garcia's argument, in his own words, since their fight, he has faced Devin Haney, the WBC champion, dropped him 3 times, and continued taking on elite-level fights. Davis, in that same span, has not faced anyone close to that level of opposition. That's not just trash talk, it's a factual resume argument, and it landed. But that's not even the most important part of this story. And this is where the real case for why Garcia's call-out cracked the crowd wide open finally makes sense. Garcia didn't just call out Davis, he called him out from a position of power he has never had before in his professional career. Before February 21, 2026, Garcia had 0 major world titles. His biggest professional win over Devin Haney had been wiped off the books, a suspension, a loss to Rolando Romero, years of drama. Every time Garcia pointed at Davis and said, "Run it back," Davis and his team could dismiss it. "You're not a champion. You don't have leverage. Get in line." That argument is dead now. Garcia walked into T-Mobile Arena on February 21, dropped Mario Barrios in the opening seconds, controlled 12 rounds, and left Las Vegas as the WBC welterweight world champion. The scorecards read 120-107, 119-108, and 118-109. Terrence Crawford called the performance amazing. The same man who beat Canelo Alvarez called Ryan Garcia's title-winning performance amazing. So when Garcia steps to a microphone at a press conference days later and publicly questions Gervonta Davis's resume, calling out who Tank has actually fought, pointing to the contrast in their paths since 2023, the crowd goes insane. Because it isn't a desperate call-out from a guy searching for a big name to stay relevant. It is a world champion calling out the man who beat him, with a belt, with a record of taking elite opposition, with receipts. And Garcia told the crowd exactly what he told Ring Magazine months earlier. The rematch has to happen at a fair weight, at 143 to 145 pounds, not 136 with a rehydration clause, not terms designed to drain him before he ever throws a punch. If Davis wants it at those terms, Garcia's answer at the press conference was clear: let's run it back. But here's what nobody is connecting right now, and once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Here's the twist that flips this entire story on its head. When Ryan Garcia lost to Gervonta Davis in April 2023, Davis was the A side. He set the terms. He collected the bigger check. He dictated the weight. Garcia came to him. That is not the situation anymore.
Garcia is a WBC world champion. Davis has not fought at a world championship level in years. His career has been interrupted by legal issues, canceled fights, and a public profile that is shrinking fast. Garcia, in an X Spaces session last November, said this about his former rival. He had a chance to be like a Mike Tyson, like one of the biggest, and then paused. The implication clear. Davis had the platform, he had the talent, he had the moment, and he didn't capitalize on it. The weight problem that Garcia always cited, it is no longer a wall. Garcia has grown naturally into welterweight, 147 pounds. Davis has competed at 135 and 140 his entire career. A catchweight at 143 or 145 pounds is not a concession. It is a fair meeting point between a man who cannot go below 143 and a man who has the power and pressure to handle any weight in that range. The fight makes sense financially. It makes sense narratively. It is the only fight in boxing right now that carries genuine personal stakes, genuine unfinished business, and genuine world championship credibility on one side of the equation. Garcia called out Davis at that press conference because the math has changed. He is not chasing Tank anymore. Tank needs to answer the question, and right now, with every legal headline and every missed opportunity, the clock is running out on his ability to do that from a position of strength. Here's where we land. Ryan Garcia beat Gervonta Davis at the microphone in March 2023. Davis beat Garcia in the ring 1 month later. Garcia spent 3 years rebuilding through a drug test, a suspension, a loss, and came out the other side a world champion. And the first thing he did with that belt was pointed at Tank. The crowd went insane because this is the fight boxing has been waiting for since April 2023. Now, for the first time, Garcia is the one who holds the power. He has the belt. He has the resume. He has the argument. Davis has the legal noise, the absent career, and the clock counting down on his prime. Here's the question the boxing world has to answer right now. Does Gervonta Davis have enough left and enough freedom from his legal situation to actually take this fight on Garcia's terms? Or has Ryan Garcia already won the rematch before it's even been signed? Drop a take below. If you want the full story on everything happening in boxing before it hits mainstream media, hit subscribe.